Okay, so this story, it sounds like something straight out of a movie. It's about a guy so invisible that for more than a decade, nobody even had a real photo of him. A complete ghost who was quietly building one of the most powerful and, frankly, terrifying criminal organizations on the planet.
But here's the thing that's just so hard to wrap your head around. How on earth does the death of just one single person
Kick off a chain reaction that literally sets 20 different states on fire all at the same time? It sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what happened on February 22nd.
The second he died, it was like someone just flipped a switch and turned the country off. I mean, we're talking highways completely blocked with flaming buses, armed convoys just rolling through major cities. Tourists were literally barricaded inside their hotels for safety. The chaos was immediate, it was brutal, and it was perfectly coordinated.
And this was the man at the dead center of it all, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho. Two different governments, not to mention a Pentagon task force, were all hunting for him. His bounty was a cool $15 million. That puts him right up there with the most wanted people on the entire planet. And here's the paradox, right? Despite that massive price on his head, he was a total ghost. For a full decade, authorities couldn't get a single confirmed picture of him. But the really disturbing part isn't just his power. It's who he was before all this. The real kicker? He used to be a cop.
So to really get how he pulled all this off, you have to look at his education. And his most important classes weren't in Mexico. No, they were taught right here in America.
This just completely flips the script on what we think prison is for. You see, in theory, you lock a guy up to contain him. But for El Mencho, federal prison was more like a sorting machine. It wasn't punishment, it was a networking summit. He was locked in a room with the future CEOs and middle managers of international crime, and the US government basically handed him a VIP pass. So he gets deported, right? And that's when he earns his second degree. And this one's even more unbelievable. He doesn't just learn about the law. He learns how to take it apart and reverse engineer it from the inside out. He literally becomes a municipal police officer. And for him, law enforcement isn't some moral crusade. It's just an operating system. And he's looking for the bugs, the exploits. He learns the radio codes, the patrol routes, which commanders take a bribe, which cops will look the other way. The very system meant to stop people like him was basically handing him its own instruction manual.
All right, so think about it. He's got the criminal network from prison and the law enforcement blueprint from being a cop. But there's a problem. In the cartel world, who you know, your bloodline, it matters. And he was a nobody. So how does a nobody get to the top? Well, he doesn't fight his way up. He merges.
Let's be clear, his marriage to Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia wasn't some whirlwind romance. It was a corporate merger, plain and simple. Her family, they ran Los Cuinis, a financial empire basically designed for laundering money. This marriage was a strategic move that instantly plugged his muscle into their money. And all of this builds into what you can only describe as a startup model for a 21st century cartel. Seriously, step 1, the strategic merger. Done. Step 2, control the supply chain. He smartly pivots to super profitable synthetic drugs and grabs control of Mexico's biggest port, turning it into his personal gateway for chemicals. And finally, step 3, franchise the brand. He sets up all these little independent cells that operate under the new company name, the CJNG, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. And with this corporate machine behind him, he developed this just terrifying doctrine, a strategy that's built on a massive, glaring contradiction.
I mean, how loud did they get? Well, on May 1st, 2015, they did something nobody thought was possible. They used a rocket-propelled grenade to shoot down a Mexican military helicopter. We're not talking about a street gang here. This was an organization that had literally war-gamed how to achieve air superiority against the state.
But here's the twist. While his cartel is making all this incredible noise, El Mencho himself, he's gone, vanished. And that's the key to the whole thing. The spectacular violence, that's the smokescreen. His silence, his total invisibility, that was the real strategy. The louder his organization got, the quieter he became. And you know what? For years, it worked. Perfectly. A multi-billion-dollar international manhunt couldn't touch him. But in the end, this whole perfect system, it was undone by the one variable you can never, ever control, the human element.
I mean, just look at this. The contrast is just wild.
On one side, you have the entire modern surveillance state throwing everything it has at them, task forces, satellites, drones, you name it. And on the other side, the clue that brought it all down? A girlfriend, a car, a mountain road. After all that, he broke his own rules for the simplest human reason. He just wanted to see someone.
And once they had that thread, things unraveled fast. Investigators tag an associate, they follow him, and boom, he leads them right to a little cabin resort where El Mencho is hiding out. By dawn the next day, 6 helicopters are circling overhead. There's a firefight, he gets wounded, and they load him onto a chopper. And get this for a dose of cosmic irony, the guy who made his name by shooting down a helicopter ends up dying inside one.
But if you think his death was the end of the story, you'd be dead wrong. In fact, his death was the ultimate proof of his success. The CJNG didn't fall apart. It snapped right into a pre-planned retaliation. We're talking more than 250 roadblocks, shutdowns across the country, dozens killed in hours. It wasn't panic. It was a machine executing its code, proving the system was built to outlive its creator.
So that leaves us with this really chilling question, doesn't it? They caught the ghost, sure, but he left behind a perfectly tuned machine, a machine built from the blueprints of the very institutions that tried to stop him. The man is gone, but who's running his machine now?